Following that breaking news now out of Northwest Baltimore, this is a live picture of Blair Adams from the Baltimore City Fire Department. She's outside of a Northwest Baltimore apartment complex where there has been a fire this morning. It's a complex where some senior citizens live. If we have that signal strong enough, let's listen in for a moment what she's talking about.
Was showing from multiple floors of a 6-story senior high-rise building. We did have to transport one person to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and then there were some residents that had to shelter in place just until we cleared the area for smoke.
We had heard reports of people in wheelchairs that were stuck in elevator or stairwells. We saw some people out on tell us about the challenges when you're dealing with a high-rise like this in a fire with this type of disabled folk.
Not even just when you're dealing with a high-rise, but more importantly, we have a lot of seniors that live in this particular building, so we had to go up to each and every floor just to make sure that everyone was evacuated. Some we took down stairwells, and then some who were en route via the elevator, they managed to get down. Those residents who have been taken out of their apartment complex, or apartment rather, they are in the main lobby of this apartment building, sheltering in place until we can find other alternatives. We just called on units where they can bring in some tents so we can provide some temporary shelter for them until we clear the entire building.
Any idea at this point what the magnitude of the fire, what caused it?
Like I said, it was smoke showing from multiple windows when we arrived, but right now the cause is under investigation. Our priority is making sure that these citizens are safe. We did have to transport someone, like I said, non-life-threatening injuries, and we're extremely grateful for that it wasn't any worse than that.
Any challenges when the winter storm hits like this?
About the conditions, we're in the middle of a snowstorm right now. Just what the conditions.
Okay, that is Blair Adams from the Baltimore City Fire Department talking about that fire in Northwest Baltimore at a senior citizen apartment complex. We're going to take a quick break right now and come back. Jeff Hager is out there on the scene from WMAR 2 News. We'll get a live report from him with more details on what's happening out there. You can see the snow coming down at that fire scene in Northwest Baltimore. I want to get an update on that breaking news that we've been following out of Northwest Baltimore, a fire at a high-rise apartment complex with a lot of senior citizens who live there. We have WMAR 2 News' Jeff Hager there at that scene right now. Jeff, what do you know so far?
Well, Chris, it's called the Imperial Condominiums. It's a 6-floor building. I'm going to step back so you can see the scene here. This call came out about 9 o'clock this morning. Right now we're being told contradictory information. It was either the 2nd or 3rd floor where there was a fire of some sort in one of the units. Now there are a number of senior citizens, many of them who are either disabled or also limited to wheelchairs, that suddenly had to be moved about as the smoke was filling this structure. Fire signal went to 2 alarms and people started arriving. We spoke with one woman who is a caregiver who was talking about how it was one of the scariest moments of her life, that she was so worried about getting the person she was attending to down the hallway, and they had to use the stairs, which you can imagine what kind of challenge that was, because the elevators, of course, weren't operational during the fire. Some people we're told were rescued from a 2nd floor balcony, and they had to push people outside to get away from the heavy smoke. They've set up tents outside to try to warm people as their units now are being cleared. But miraculously, there was only one transport. Paramedics only took one person away from the scene, and no one was injured. So all things being said, in the middle of a winter snowstorm, to have such a scary moment as a high-rise report of a fire and so many people to move, this almost couldn't have worked out better, and a lot of people thankful here today. Reporting live in Park Heights, Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
Okay, Jeff, thanks so much for that live report. Really heartwarming to hear the caregiver more concerned about the woman she was taking care of than herself. And thanks so much for that. Right now, we'll send it over to Chief Meteorologist Lynette Charles.